So, people tend to think that weird senses of humor, sexual stuff is bad, and drier senses of humor, sarcasm, are more generally accepted and have the edge. But oftentimes, people who gravitate towards drier senses of humor that can be good in some settings, but you want to have a unique good sense of humor. It's almost like saying that if you believe sarcasm is funny, people should think, pizza is a good food. It's almost like that. Because it's like, well, yes, sarcasm can be funny. Yes, pizza can be very good. But that's the most, like, normie response. We Generally, people don't have the creativity and imagination to come up with interesting, funny sexual jokes without coming across as a pervert. So people tend to shy away from weird, corny, cheesy, sexual, inappropriate, hypothetical scenario jokes. But I actually find that a lot of the people I talk to try to resist laughing when it's something they think is funny if it seems inappropriate. And oftentimes, people make other inappropriate jokes that don't get that same treatment. So, also, um, nowadays, there is some backlash against YouTubers who talk about the dating market. And let me just say that a lot of what they say is wrong. So, for instance, they'll tell you, let's just take the basic, most tried and true 80-20 rule. They'll say the top 20% of women get, or they'll say like 20% get 80%. So, and the bottom can't get any. No, they'll say, I forget which way it is, because I don't even consider it valid, but, it's something you can qualify, so you can say that, uh, it's partially true, but like in this video I'm watching, Myron James is talking about how what was he talking about? Wait, I forget. But so you don't want to say that women will always choose a better man if they can find one, because that's what anyone would do. Any guy, if he could find a better girl, would find one. And Myron isn't generalizing, but Myron Keynes X is sort of generalizing. And I have to say that um, if you look at it from one perspective, yes, women are promiscuous, women don't care about men, but that's your standard woman. You could say different bad stuff about your standard man, that he is too obsessed over looks, that he doesn't care about a woman's morals, or and that like if you're being unbiased, you would say that the dumb guys and the dumb girls are both equal. Like, there's no difference between them, because dumb guys will, like, do stuff and say stuff, and dumb girls obviously too, but um but that's the dumb ones. There's also smart ones and average ones. So the average girl at a college campus that Myron goes to interview, he's a YouTuber, has 400,000 something subscribers, close to 500K. He is trying to expose female nature. And this whole red pill, black pill stuff is based in a selective ideology, because I could say the same thing about guys, that guys are still focused on their looks and women's looks, and guys want to be strong, and from a young age women are taught to care about their looks and guys' looks. I mean, it's all looks. I mean, unless Myron is trying to say, hey, I am a moral thought leader, and I know how men and women can both improve their character and become high value women and men. Like, that's why I like Alexander Grace, because Alexander Grace will actually teach you something. Myron, he teaches you stuff, but it's stuff that's like common sense. Like, why would any woman choose an ugly guy like me, or like some black dude, over some rich white dude with a rich car and bigger muscles than me, who's taller? If you watch Piers Morgan, so there's people who say he's dumb. I don't really know, because I don't watch the guy, but everyone goes on there to debate. And when Myron went on, I watched the video. Where Tim Pool was on. Tim Pool, like the I don't know, journalist guy or whatever. I watched Tim Pool years ago one time when he was live or something, and he said he was like gonna quit YouTube, and then now I don't know what he's doing. I need to subscribe to his YouTube to see what he's doing. But if you like think you're ugly and you don't care what people say, and you just quit and you just fap all day and goon, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like, I used to be black pilled and think I was black pilled many years ago, and I just started working out, yeah, working out. And I got this new phone. This is recording in 1080p. I could have done 8K, but I'm doing 1080p because I don't think no one's gonna watch in 8K. But drop in the comments if you got this far, if you would watch in 8K. Just change the YouTube settings. You don't gotta have a strong computer, just like Ryzen 5. 35H. 3500H, no. Processor. So, I don't know why, but, people who, people who people who think that you want like uh uh a high value person. So even with that, like Alexander Grace, even as true as that sounds, so one thing is that no one is that moral or like good, pure. So like me, even if you said okay, he he he's honest, he all that stuff. So let me just say that nobody's perfect. Everyone has flaws. So if you better to go for young people because they're more willing to change, and an older adult like Gen X, they didn't grow up during our time. So everyone above 40 years old right now is not a good person. They are not high value. High value just means they have money and status, and if they have looks, they have looks. But high value does not actually mean, they have morals, they're a good person, good character, good beliefs, good ideology, good traits. Um, Now, I can tell you that the people you should try to make friends with are just nice, friendly, honest people. But there's no such thing as like any type of person that is just perfect, like high value. Like when they say that high value man or high value woman, that doesn't actually exist. In the spectrum of all men and women out there, that is like such a small minority that you will never find those people going on Tinder or Hinge or Bumble, and like you might as well marry your coworker if you have an office white collar job and you're rich and they're rich. And so uh no, don't actually do that. Um now so every time um every time you here's the thing, if I go up to anyone, could be anywhere, and I start talking to them, there is a point you can reach, a level of saturation where you are just that good. And it takes a lot to get there. I don't know if I'm there, but it would be where, first of all, you wouldn't assume anything, and you just like you almost have to be ignorant, almost, but you're not ignorant. But like I have a cut on my neck, and I would put Vaseline on it. Um, and you would have to see me with that, hear me talking in this slurred voice, and I could be talking about some random bullshit. And you would have to listen, not like interrupt, and when you speak, you don't make any assumptions. Your facial expressions are neutral. You don't say anything that doesn't make sense. And as we talk, if I ask you a difficult question, you're able to pause and process it and give a valid, like, sensible answer. If we're walking somewhere while we're talking, you're able to look around and pay attention to surroundings and look at me and not just stare at me. And if I say something that doesn't make sense, you're able to correct it accurately. Um, and you're able to be nice, you're able to be respectful, but you understand the boundaries. Like, so if I start raising my voice, you don't say, hey, stop, I'm gonna walk away if you don't lower your voice. No, depending on what, it depends. So, like, I called my dad earlier. He was like, if you don't lower your voice, I'm gonna hang up. And I lowered my voice, but um, sometimes people talk with a different tone that's meaner and ruder, and they don't notice it. But when you raise your voice and your tone is similar to the same, then they tell you that you're being rude and you need to stop. But they're the one who's saying something that doesn't make sense. They're the one who's flawed, and they're blaming it on you because they're the wrong side of the argument. Like, so if you can approach that point where that level of saturation where like if I trapped you in a cage, would you start crying? If a monster trapped you in a cage and wouldn't let you out, would you start crying, or would you look for a way to get out? And you may never get out, but crying is not gonna help. Raising your voice will help, because people will react to that shit. People react like crazy to that shit. Raising your voice is what you should do. Changing your tone, maybe not. Because, that's gonna hurt you. Because that person's gonna hate you. If you always raise your change your tone, and you never raise your voice so they can't blame you. Because I can't blame my dad. He's not gonna accept any blame. People will never take accountability for their actions unless they have to, unless you force them. You gotta beat them on the head for them to accept. Like, if the police get called on you and you don't listen, they're gonna arrest you, meaning they're gonna grab you and put you on the floor. They might hit you, and they're gonna use force. They have the right to do that by law. So, the police can get sued if they abuse their power. The police can get sued. So nowadays, most police are smarter. So they won't immediately arrest you, even if they can. They try to talk to you, because they know you're gonna try to resist, and now so let's talk about something else. So when you when you when you talk about smart people, no one is smart, okay? Because let's say you're in school. Your teachers don't know how to do their job. They're not teaching you concisely. All the students are failing or they get C's. A few get straight A's and graduate with a perfect GPA. But you have on average, the average student is a C student. Okay, the average student is not an A or B student. And why that is because different teachers grade differently. Some teachers will give you a perfect grade for what other teachers, the same assignment, the same class, the same everything will give you a C or a D. So if you have a teacher who breaks everything down, has time to tell jokes but doesn't have to, and he or she or whoever they transgender will give you feedback, help you, teach you everything, and teach you so well that you don't need to do homework for practice, you don't need to review. As soon as they teach it, you grasp it, you understand it. I can tell you so many math teachers who cannot teach, okay, this is the, I forget the name, but I gotta take a piss. I had a smoothie earlier, broccoli smoothie, and, so I need to tell you something else. So, when you see an Asian guy like me, your immediate reaction should be he is more arrogant. Okay. So I am not this way, but if I saw someone who looks like me, I'd either think they're very meek or arrogant. Why? Is because in Asian culture, the patriarchy is weird. So there is the patriarchy, obviously, but Asian men are weird. Okay, they're not like black men or Hispanic men or white men. Okay? And Asian girls is the best girls, okay? Honestly, Asian girls are the best girls. They're better than black girls by far. They're better than Hispanic girls by far, and they're better than all the white girls. Okay? Um Asian girls are the way to go. Now now Asian guys are either meek or arrogant. Um, if you're not meek or arrogant as an Asian guy, you're meek. You're meek, cause every Asian guy I've ever met is either meek or arrogant or both. No one is neither. Because as an Asian, the way we're seen, the way we're raised, you're either meek or you're arrogant. Meek, like MEEK, and arrogant. So that's just a random fact. And what that means is, they're gonna be weird. They're gonna be weird or not nice. Um, And I am not meek. Cause look at all the things I just said right now. I'm close to being meek. I'm far from being arrogant. But I lost my meekness um, by doing stuff, training. Um, you might think I'm slightly meek. I might be very, very slightly, but because of how my voice sounds, slurred with my tongue cut, and yeah. Um, also, so let me tell you something else. Let me teach you something else. Um, so, So in fighting, boxing, MMA, they don't block. They cover their face and they cover their body. In martial arts, they teach you to block. But the reason in other sports, other contexts, so if Bruce Lee was to fight one of his students, Bruce Lee would win. Bruce Lee teaches his students everything when he was alive, but the problem is there is no one who knows as much as the masters. So if two black belts fight and they tie, that's a tie. But if a master martial artist or Shaolin monk or a Secret Service US agent fight someone, like I don't know who's the best US top Secret Service agent right now. The guy who's out somewhere spying and fighting. Now, here's the thing. So, Bruce Lee fought barehanded, no weapons. In the military, they teach modern army combatives, which combines different things and is superior to MMA. MMA is mixed martial arts. So, that is better than what Bruce Lee knows. Bruce Lee knows better because he has his special stuff that he invented. He invented Wing Chun and he teaches concepts about fighting. He doesn't just teach raw power. He knows the dynamics and the mechanics of fighting. How if you throw a high kick, you can step in closer and block it and then throw a jab or a cross. So, in fighting though, if you don't know how to use weapons, you're not gonna survive. Because what if someone has a gun? So, you need to be trained either by modern army combatives or the Secret Service. Or, you need to just be like Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, the OG Resident Evil 4, not the remake, the one where the Ganados' heads explode when he kicks and elbows. His reverse roundhouse kick with pivot and his elbows. If they grab you from behind, in the OG RE4, Leon would elbow and their head would explode. Not because of the Las Plagas, because it was so fast. And Leon throws a knife 80 miles per hour, stabs through Salazar's hand, sticks it into the wall. So, flies 30 feet, accelerates to 80 miles per hour. So, but if you want to fight, so, what was I gonna say? So no one is telling you something when you fight. If so, here's back to where I started. If two black belts fight and they tie, then that's good. But when two masters fight, one is gonna be better than the other. So if I fought someone now, if I fought a police officer now twice my size, I'd probably lose because I don't know how to fight. But if I was trained, I could beat someone 2, 3, 4 times my size. If I was faster, if I was skilled, if I knew the techniques, the concepts, and I had trained, that's why one of the back girls, my friend, who we don't talk anymore, but one of the back girls is stronger than Bruce Wayne. Not stronger, but she could beat Bruce Wayne in a fight, Batman. And that back girl weighs like half what Bruce Wayne weighs. But the thing is, she's faster, and she specializes in quick takedowns, quick takeouts. And I have to take a piss. I'm holding it in. Ah! But anyway, when you fight, you're supposed to block, and you're supposed to block in a way where you can counter. So if I were throwing a punch, you would go like that, here, or here, or here, or no, lower. It's better. And you would block, like, the longer the better. But I could try it. I can't. That's why you still need to be strong. Because if I punch you and you try to block, but then it's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't know. It might not work. I don't really know how to block because, yeah, it might not work. But, like, if you want to fight, it has to be where, you don't just get, like, into a scrap and you're both, like, tussling. You want to have control over the situation. So if it's like unprofessional, it's like professional fighting. Professional fighting is unprofessional. When two guys get in the ring, equally skilled or similar skill, it's up to chance because and you could be a lot stronger, maybe not twice as strong, but a lot stronger, and you might, like, when Logan Paul fought KSI, Logan Paul was already bench pressing 385 before he trained with the guy. I forget his name. But KSI was benching like 200 pounds, 205, 215. KSI was weak. I bench in between those amounts, 385 and 205 when I was in my prime. So I could beat both of them if I was skilled. But Logan Paul is 2 inches taller. He has longer reach. He has better abs, core. His legs stronger, faster. I would say if KSI hadn't been trained by the Mayweather brothers, I mean family, not brothers, he would have lost. So I would say that You cannot, so, um, so here's the thing. Uh, if you want to get faster, because Bruce Lee could only punch 8 times in 1 second, the world record now is 20. I do about 10 to 12, depending on how I'm feeling. But, if you want to be more like Bruce Lee or one of these legendary fighters, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, um, you would have to, um, get really fast because speed is more important than strength in fights. So I'm already really fast, so I don't need to worry about speed. I'm more worried about strength. But I can tell you that kicks are much harder to master than punches. Anyone can throw a decent punch, but when you kick, um, unfortunately, the advanced kicks are very difficult to learn. And if you don't have access to advanced kicks and you're just throwing regular kicks, you're not gonna do well. Bruce Lee practiced the basics. Alright, so he practiced push ups, bicep curls, squats. Bruce Lee was not by any means. I gotta go take a piss. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm back. So, Bruce Lee was not by any means one of the strongest. So, Bruce Lee, was very quick. And, so here's the thing. If you want to, like, be, faster, um, people will do the same morning jog, the same elliptical biking, and never improve. Like Usain Bolt barely improved. They all do jumps and strength training, and they do it wrong. Usain Bolt, I think I looked up, he squats 600 pounds, 585. Um, you have to understand something. So, people are always looking for shortcuts. So, sprinters will bulk up, bulk muscle mass, and get really bulky. That bulk muscle mass, type 2A and type 2X, it allows them to have shorter bursts of more explosive power and speed. If you want to just do a bunch of barbell back squats and box jumps and hope that you get faster, and not do any step aerobics or one-legged running, single leg bounding drills. Even football players train single leg bounding drills. And what you should not do is go on those morning runs and never improve. There are two things: anaerobics and aerobics. Anaerobics is everything I just listed: the morning runs, the weights, the jumps. Anaerobics means without oxygen. So you're lifting weights, you're sprinting, it burns glycogen in your muscles and creates lactic acid, making you sore. Aerobics trains your heart and lungs and is at a lower intensity. So, if you think about everything that builds hypertrophy, bodybuilding, lower intensity, aerobics, heart and lung isolation, higher intensity, everything lower intensity is better. For building more. If you just want strength and tendons, do higher intensity. And if you just want, so anaerobics is not just anaerobics is not just that it burns glycogen and you don't build a heart endurance, lung capacity. Anaerobics trains your mitochondria, I believe, when you put them under stress. But that's a totally different thing, because if you want to talk about anaerobics, what anaerobics does, no one knows because no one studies this. I'm sure there's some kinesiologists, exercise physiologists out there who study it. Actually, let me look it up. What does So anaerobics builds power and size. That's what Google says, which I knew, but I was looking for something else. So, same thing with high intensity with weights. Do low intensity for or weight. Oh, that's weird. Um, Anyway, I'm gonna end the video soon. But also, I teach stuff on my TikTok and IG videos, and IG Live, TikTok, and Twitter. So follow those in the description. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more teaching. I'm gonna start teaching on my YouTube. I'm gonna stop live streaming and start teaching. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. Now, one other thing is that um, people will say that people will say that uh, um, hold on, I gotta check something. Go to my YouTube. I gotta check something. Oh, it's not there. Oh, I have to figure it out later. I'm gonna add this to my podcast, I think. Uh, I think. I think I want to start doing podcasts. Uh, like a YouTube podcast. I'll figure it out after I finish recording this. But, uh, so, the other thing is that, um, when you talk about, um, when, you have, like, um, um, so, So, if you, if you, uh, try to, um, if you, hold on. So there are things that I know that I don't know if I can teach. Um, but um, so probably um what probably what I'm gonna teach right now is something else. So I want to teach you perception. So right, perception is everything, self-presentation. But what if you knew that? What if you knew what someone was really like, even if they weren't trying to show you what exactly they're like? So if you saw me or you saw someone and you made assumptions about them, that would be a perception. Now, the truth, the reality, not one side or the other side of the story, is what you want. And if you want to believe assumptions, you can believe assumptions, but that's just not true. So when you get into an argument, a verbal fight between two people, one person or both is usually wrong. Usually it's not two people who are both right and mad at each other. And one person can be right and the other wrong, and it turns into an argument because that's what's called not listening. Is when someone's wrong and they don't listen. So, and they have more authority because they're the parent, they're the mom, they're the dad, and the kid is being abused. Now, I went through abuse. I went through a lot of abuse growing up, and as an adult still growing up, as an adult growing up, because you're always growing up. It's not just when you're a kid, you're still growing up. You're a grown adult, but you're still growing. You're growing through your adult life. And grown people can make mistakes and do terrible things. Now, the point of all this is to tell you that when you see someone, look at their default and how they emphasize and sway from it. So, this is my normal face. Any other face is a sway. So, if I'm more happy, smiling, more frowny, you notice I never frown. I always either smile, or grin, or laugh, or my mouth is open, or it's just neutral and closed. So I never frown. Why? a lot of Asian guys don't frown, because frowning is something that white men and black men do to assert their dominance. Um, Asian men generally don't frown. Um, Unless you're doing it to make a funny face. Generally, we don't frown. Um, now, um, if if you uh, if you say, Asian people are good at math, that's a true statement. Like, that's not being racist. But if you say, there's no way you can mess up at math if you're Asian, then that'd be kind of racist. But, people think stereotypes are like myths, like completely just BS, and stereotypes are somewhat accurate. So, there's a reason they're called stereotypes, and there's archetypes. Now, I'm gonna say something. So, for the longest time, people have believed college is a scam, but nothing is legitimate. So, you going out and buying that Big Mac from McDonald's is not legitimate. It's not healthy, it's a waste of money, and it's just trash food. Now, you going out and buying these nice boots or designer jeans, that's a waste of money because it's overpriced. Those glasses that you wear, these glasses my mom bought, and I told her to return them, but she kept them. But anyway, I heard something. Anyway, um, so nothing is legitimate. So you should not, like the computer you buy, the phone you have, they're all a product of capitalism. So, at least in the United States. And when you have these upscale, overpriced, upscale price, yeah. So back to what I was saying is that when you look at someone, meet someone, don't assume, this person is weird or this person is probably dumb. Learn to get to know them first. Now, everyone has flaws, so if you talk to them too long, they're gonna get mad at you for some reason. Anyone you talk to for hours and hours or minutes and minutes, they will eventually not like you. Unless you are compatible with them. But there's a lot of incompatible people. That's why a lot of people get divorced. And because people choose the wrong person to begin with. Also, if you try to ask someone, like, for help, no one is gonna be there to help you. So I'm gonna leave this video off on a note, maybe negative, I'm sorry, but rely on yourself because no one is gonna help you. Like, that's one of the things I was taught, is that no one is your real friend until they prove it. Like, they go out of their way to help you. And chances are that person is just a generous person. And he's like that with everyone. But what you shouldn't do is always try, I mean, here's the thing. So, right, I could live stream 4 hours a day and just sit in my chair or work out or react to stuff. I could be one of those live streamers. Or I could do an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of videos teaching stuff like this. And let's see which one grows better. Am I gonna get more views doing the lower quality content, putting less effort into it, or are people gonna appreciate what I teach? Because these are people watching my content, and so I want to give them the best that I've got. But when I make videos, it's with the intention that people don't have to watch. People can choose, and I want to make content that is worthwhile. So I'm not gonna go live and just sit in my chair. I'm gonna work out, and it may look like I'm sitting in my chair, and it may look like I'm just rambling, but everyone else is doing that. They're sitting there playing a video game, half reading chat, doing a half-assed job, or they're just chatting, waiting for someone to chat so they can respond. But here I am recording. I have no one. I'm not live. And the results will show. Because how can you say, oh, I'm trying my best. I go live every day playing this stupid ass video game. And adults who play video games are not adults. What they are is kids who are old. Real men don't play Fortnite or even Call of Duty or CSGO. Real men are putting food on the table, always trying to improve themselves and doing their very best to support their family. If you don't have a family, how can you call yourself a real man? Even your own parents or your siblings, everyone has a family, unless you're an orphan. So don't say, oh, you're not even married, you don't even have kids. Maybe you are a widow, you had a wife and kids once, and they divorced. You can always remarry, but what you should not do is marry a woman for her looks, because men do it all the time and they regret it later. She may still be smart and also happen to look good, but don't marry for her looks. Don't even give girls attention for their looks, look at girls for their looks, donate to streamers for their looks. Just be careful. Because a lot of guys watch porn and they love white girls with big firm tits, and you should not watch porn. What you should do is masturbate as much as you want, but to a real girl. So get a friend and just masturbate to her. This is some bullshit I'm talking, but just let me cook, okay? Just let me cook, I swear. So get a real girl, a real life girl, and ask her to strip down to her bikini, not naked, cause that's freaky shit. Or just ask her to dance for you. Get like a female friend to do this every time you want to fap. Just tell her to wear tight fitting clothes and dance, and you'll fap to her, and that's better. Cause if you never watch porn, that is enough. You don't need full nudity. Just look up videos of girls dancing if you don't have a real life girl, female friend. And I wrote about this on Twitter. Dancing naked is one of the most attractive things. I made a tier list, a like ranked list. Not a tier list, but a ranked list. And it had dancing naked erotically is like number 10 or 6. Number 1 is the most attractive. And then, so when you basically don't, don't 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 just like you. So what you want to do is if you want to do better in life, right? So maybe you're not rich, and let's say you're still young, you don't have a job, maybe you don't drive, and maybe you live with your parents, but the best thing is don't just do nothing. Like, I ask people what I should do to be productive, what skills should I learn, and they tell me just focus on school. School is your priority. Focus on your health. But don't just do nothing. Find something, find some skill that you can learn so people will want to pay you for it. You need a skill in life. And that skill can be anything as long as you're good at it. So don't let anyone tell you, oh, that skill is a bad skill. If you're really good at it, pursue it. And pursue it up until the limit, up until the very limit. And even if you don't succeed at first, you should keep trying. And People are gonna tell you that you're not enough, like they told me, but you have got to continue trying, because the more you wait and you wait, no opportunity is gonna come. You have to create that opportunity. So opportunities don't come from other people. You have influence over yourself. Even if people are putting you down, there is always a way. Now, when you meet someone one day who you really like, a girl or a guy, and they like you back, that is when you become friends, and from there you form a relationship. But you should not just go on a dating app and meet someone. Usually it will be a fat girl, because fat girls are nicer. All the hoes, the beautiful girls, are not nice, so I would not try to date them. The fat girls are the girls who had a fun life and caring family. Because think about it, who wants to date a fat girl? Right? No one does. Who wants a fat girl as a daughter? So, fat people get plus 2 points. So, if she is normally a 1 out of 10, with fat, she is a 3 or 4 out of 10. So, find a fat girl who is a 4 out of 10 or above, and she is immediately a 6 or 7. And if you can find a fat girl who is only a little bit fat, then you have something. Um, um, if you can find a girl who is only slightly fat, but she is still fat, and she is not a hoe, then you have something. um, so when you buy a bed, there's Bob's Discount Furniture, there's memory foam, soda foam sleeper, mattress, there is all sorts of stuff. But what you should get is a hospital mattress. The mattresses they use in hospitals are the best, and you can buy them on Wayfair. Now Wayfair is weird, so just get like a cheap one, because they're expensive ones too. But they're all the same. Hospital mattresses are cheap and better. Memory foam is weird. It's not good. So also, when you watch YouTube podcasts, they just talk the shit. Shoot the shit. So they don't teach you much in one video like I'm trying to do. Now I have way more knowledge in my TikToks and IG videos, but I can't remember all that off the top of my head. I guess I could play some of it out loud for you. But it's long. This would take me a while. I don't know if I can. When you try to hide things, if you get a job and they find out oh, somebody told me hello. I was just talking about if you get a job, your workplace might look into your social media and ask you questions. It might happen during the interview or it might happen a little bit later, but you want to be honest because when you sign, oh hi G, G, I always, whenever I think your name, like, I think G Biden, but the last part of the name isn't Biden. It's very confused. Um, and, but, uh, so often people aren't gonna ask you what you're good at for how, if you're good at something, like I'm good at certain things, people are gonna like not be cognizant of that, and like if like people you know really well could be even family, they're not gonna acknowledge the like your strengths, your skills, um. Here, let's go to my TikTok, because I can skip around. I think. My TikTok has some good knowledge. So some people might be hiding trauma and bad. You won't notice it. Some people might just shout out how good you are, how bad you are. Your ass. So how nice, how empathetic. If you're always right, you can't be bad. So that's a solid 2S. Well, I think I'm gonna keep my YouTube knowledge separate from my IG videos, IG posts, and TikTok Live if I do it on TikTok Live. Because I have too many TikToks and videos to watch right now, and this is the first video. I'm gonna make a new podcast and see if I can distribute it. But I'll probably keep it just on YouTube. Yeah. Uh, so if you uh if you if you have friends who are real friends, so real friends who support you through thick and thin and don't care for better or worse, or not for better or worse, but um, uh, true friends, most people don't have true friends. So I would say even if like you've grown up with someone and not like live with them, but you've been childhood friends or as adults. But what it means to have a true friend is to just be a good person. Cause unless it's like a guy and he loves this girl, or these two guys are such good friends. But like I said, you would have to grow up with them. It can't just be, after you turn 18. And another thing is true friends um, are gonna treat you better than family. As your family is not gonna treat you well. If your mom or your dad yells at you and they go to work, they're not gonna yell at their boss or their coworkers. There's just certain norms and patterns, trends in society. Like your parents are not gonna care if they have to yell at you, even if you didn't do anything wrong and it's just them getting triggered. Because here's the thing, your parents, you grow up with them yelling at you all your life, and by the time you're smart enough to not need their yelling, they still yell at you. Why? Because they're used to it. If you get anyone used to something over a course of 2 decades, 18 years, then they're gonna keep doing it. And it's a problem because parents should be teaching their kids more. There's gatekeeping done on these things. People are not sharing knowledge. So everyone is shocked when they go to college. Every kid keeps complaining college is a scam, like I said earlier. But college, okay, nothing is legit. Everything is a scam because of how things work. No one is gonna give you a good deal in life unless it ends up being a scam later. So so when you talk to people, what you want to do is not just bring up random topics for conversation. So people say they want pickup lines to pick up girls, or they write a book, a narrative, and it's some random book. Like Harry Potter was trash. The movies were great, but how the books were written, like the Deathly Hallows was written 2007. Like those books are so old. There's way better fiction books. Um, Harry Potter in the books literally has no action, and it's so like dry, and the font of the books is so hard to read and so small. Um, what I would do is I would uh I would advise um if you want a good fiction book, read The Ranger's Apprentice or Ranger's Apprentice. That's good, and there's 11 books in the series. Books that get turned into movies is all because of marketing and talent agents and stuff. They don't actually publish them into movies because they're better. Like I could be the best in the world at something, but unless somebody knows and seeks me out, I'm not gonna just get picked up and thrown out or Now, there is another important thing to address. So, when you go to school, you take the bus, you get to school, you walk to your class, and you sit down, put down your backpack, you get your stuff out. Um, I don't know what it's like nowadays, if you still write or if you bring your own laptop, but when I was going to school, there was no like there was just no like way that I could do well because um by the time a teacher is teaching AP or IB classes, which is, if you don't know, college equivalent, but in high school, by the time they're teaching those, sort of college equivalent, what happens is the high school teachers start doing a bad job. So, what I had to do is I took a bunch of lower level classes to get A's. And the upper level ones give you more weighted GPA. So my B's and A's and C's turn into like double that, or almost. Um, Not exactly, but uh, so um, if you uh, if you want to um, be a good student, get more A's. An A is good. Um, any A minus, A plus, any A. And I can tell you that um, uh, when you um, when you try to um, when you So when you try to justify yourself, like why why you're right in a scenario, you have to remember that like um you may be right, but um, but like if I tell someone that I'm the smartest in the world, and let's pretend I am the smartest in the world. Um, when you justify something, it's not just saying right versus wrong. It's not just black and white. Nothing in life is just black and white. So I may be the smartest at one type of intelligence and dumb as the rest. There may be other forms it could come in. Now, I like to believe that I am one of the smartest in the world actually because of one type of intelligence. But I don't know for sure how will I stack up against everyone in the world. But that type of intelligence is existentialism, and it's not the existentialism in philosophy. It's learning from experiences where you extrapolate knowledge discoveries out of experiences, and that would make you um, able to make breakthroughs and make discoveries. Um, you don't just say that you have a high IQ or emotional intelligence. Those aren't accurate metrics. And when when you uh, when you talk to people, um, people who just as a general rule, people who like to talk and they like to listen and they like to socialize, those are bad people. So uh, it's better if someone um, is more neutral because it doesn't have to be black and white. You either like talking to people or you dislike talking to people. There's also ambiverts. So it's like what they say, 50 Shades of Grey, which is a book I never read, but the theme is still there that there's the grays and a lot of them. So what I would say is don't think of it as black and white. Um, and when you come across something you don't understand, like if uh, there's a sale going on, let's see what they have. Sale. I still can't find my my playlist. Oh, I found it. I found it. Alright, I gotta take it down, but I enjoyed doing the podcast, but maybe I won't take it down because it doesn't feel right. And I don't have enough jump to take. The jump is not there yet. Um, but, so, uh, you want to find, people who know more than you about something to teach you. And since, like I said earlier, knowledge is gatekept, what you don't want to do is just expect them to give you all their knowledge. So what you should do is you should ask them questions and expect them to be wrong. Expect them. It's always what's least expected is what happens in life. Because what you expect, the rules that you govern, that you think govern your life, don't govern anybody's life. There are no rules in life. So, uh, now, if I were to fight Bruce Lee right now, Bruce Lee isn't faster, I'm faster. Bruce Lee, in his weaker form, was only a bit stronger than I am now. Um, Bruce Lee wouldn't have a huge advantage on me, but Bruce Lee does have insane finger strength, which wouldn't matter because my fist is still stronger than one of his fingers. Technically. Um, but you have to understand that Bruce Lee is a legend, and legends are legendary. So if I were to fight Bruce Lee, what I would have to do is I would have to be able to take hits better than him. Because he's gonna be hitting harder than me. So I have to be willing to endure the pain. That's another thing, is your pain tolerance. Because in fights, in boxing, they give you points the more damage you inflict. So if you get a knockout, you'll get more points. But I have a tendency to not take damage, take pain. I take pain very well. I don't get hurt often. I don't know why, but in fights I've been in, I often end up not hurting that much because I've been in thousands of fights over the years. I would say that other people tend to get very severely injured. Fighting, getting hits to the face, getting hits to the ribs. Like I'm pretty strong. I would say that I could beat Bruce Lee in his weaker form, his 135 pounds form. Because what I could do is I could kick him. Bruce Lee preferred high kicks, and I like lower kicks. Bruce Lee also was not that strong or fast, so people admire him mainly because of his style and the movies. But nowadays there's many stronger people. Now, here's another thing. So, at 200 to 300 pounds body weight, if you can do a lot of push-ups, you are gonna be very strong. So, I just have to say that get a weighted backpack and get going, because unless you weigh 255, you're gonna need that extra 45-pound plate on your back, and maybe 2 more. All you need is actually weighted push-ups. So, try to get 1 or 2 45-pound plates and put it on your back. That would be good. Or you could do, or you could do one arm push-ups. One arm push-ups work too. Just do weighted one arm push-ups. Weighted one arm push-ups. My lips are so dry.